we are only minutes away. So many... I guess we forgot to turn that clock back all the way back in October. Because it already says it's 1 o'clock there. That is not the case. But Happy New Year's, everybody. So why am I doing the vlog again this year? Well, I'm gonna level with you guys and talk real serious here for a second, but last year I got pretty low. I hit a point that I didn't ever want to get to. I was feeling depressed. I was drinking a lot. I got to a point where I was just not happy with the Steven that I was last year. And it wasn't until the end of last year where I went back and kind of watched my vlog from 2018, and I realized that even though some of those weeks I didn't really do anything because I was working, I still made it a point to do a vlog, to do something creative that week. Even if it was something simple as just standing in front of a camera saying, hey, this is what happened, the end, kind of thing. So I kind of wanted to get back into that, and especially because looking back at last year, there were so many things that I did end up missing, talking to you guys about. And so in this episode, I'm going to do a little recap of what happened last year, the fun parts of last year, because it wasn't all doom and gloom, but the fun parts of last year. So here's that moment. So last year, there were a couple key points that I actually want to bring up now before we move forward to just talk about, stuff I didn't really cover last year. So the first thing is, of course, I went to RTX last year by myself for the first time. I just decided last second, you know what, tickets are on sale now, the hotel's on sale, I'll go. And it was actually one of the first times that I actually cosplayed completely, like a full getup, and I actually went as Felix from Red vs. Blue, but not in his armor, but in his past version where he's just in his suit and all that stuff. He was only in 3 episodes that they showed him like that, but I figured I could do that. Well, I even cut my hair just like his, and got all the pieces to match up to his, and it actually had a pretty positive reception as I was walking around. Just how many people were coming up to me like, oh, I want to get pictures of you, I want to get pictures, let me get this, let me get that. And it was also funny because I had to get used to basically reacting to a name that wasn't mine. Because obviously no one's going to just be like, hey, Steven, I need a picture of you. They're going to call you by your character name. So they would be like, hey, Felix, hey, Felix. And there was one time I was just walking around and this little kid was just like, Felix, Felix, Felix. And I just kept walking. And I go, oh, right, that's me. And I just turned around and I'm like, yeah, what's up? So that was just a lot of fun. And I got to meet a lot of a lot of cosplayers and a lot of new people. I actually ended up on the very last night going down to the pool after the convention closed, and a lot of the Rooster Teeth people actually came downstairs. And when I was at the bar, I was just kind of sitting there having my drinks, and some of the Funhouse guys came up next to me and started asking me questions like, oh, what are you drinking? Like, what's going on? And I just started talking to them. And I've always been under the idea that as a fan talking to someone who makes something you enjoy, there's 2 different types of fans you can be. You can either be the crazy, obsessive one that's just like, oh my god, it's you, oh my god, can you sign this, can you do that, or you could just talk to them like a person. And that was the one thing I was trying to do, was just talk to them like they were just another person. And so that was actually a lot of fun because I actually ended up hanging out with Adam Kovic a little bit, and he actually ended up buying me a drink when I went to the bar because I was like, let me get you the drink. He's like, no, let me get you the drink. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I also met a couple other people there at the pool too, like this one cosplayer that lives in Virginia, and she does a lot of really, really cool stuff. And so she was showing me all that stuff, and we're friends on Instagram now. And so that experience was just so much fun going by myself, and I might do it again this year because I want to do more of that stuff and just kind of go with the flow and not really have a set plan, but just decide day by day what I'm going to go do. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Another thing I did last year was, of course, me, my sister, and our friend Noreen in November actually went to Mexico for a week, which was a lot of fun too, because I have never been outside of the country, and I felt like I always needed a reason to finally get my passport. And I finally did, so now I have that for future trips. And while we were there, we did all sorts of fun stuff. We went to some temple ruins. We went to the Frida Kahlo household. and just ate a lot of food and had a lot of drinks and just kind of hung out and had a good time. We were in Mexico City for the first half of the trip, and then after that we went over to the Cancun area, but we didn't stay in Cancun. We went down further south to Puerto Morelos, and it was a smaller town, but had a lot more stuff to do than you would think. There was it had the beach right there, and of course the place we stayed at was one street down from the beach. And the cool thing about the house we stayed at is in every single room they actually had hooks that you could hook hammocks up to. And so I actually ended up sleeping in a hammock the 3 days that I was there, and it was actually surprisingly comfortable. So I came home and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna get rid of my bed and just put hooks in my room and just hang up a hammock. But yeah, me and my sister actually went snorkeling at one point because they have a barrier or a reef there in Puerto Morelos that stretches all the way up to the Cancun area as well. And it's I think it's like the second largest one in the world, like next to the Great Barrier Reef. And we saw stingrays, lobsters, a nurse shark, like all sorts of really cool things. I would never have, done that before, but we kind of just decided last second, hey, why not? Let's give it a try. So that whole trip was just a blast, and it definitely got me wanting to go on more trips now. And now that I have my passport, I am all about possibly going somewhere else this next year. Just haven't really thought of anything yet. Lastly, the other big change from last year that happened is, of course, I'm sure by this point you can tell from where I'm sitting, that's not the Lobo TV office. And that's actually because I stopped working at Lobo Athletics and actually got another job on UNM campus in the IT department for extended learning. So that's where I am right now is, I don't really have an office anymore. I have a cubicle, but, so it's a little bit smaller than what I usually used to have with the Lobo TV office. But it's 40 hours a week, and it pays a lot more than Lobos was paying, and I have a lot more free time, and it's a lot more relaxed. And really what we're doing is we're just monitoring the online courses, just making sure that the classes that, are used for those online courses, that everything's working. The teacher can talk to the students can talk to the teacher, they can see everything they need to see, everything's being recorded properly so that people who go back and look at the content are able to look at it. It's just small stuff like that. Of course, right now we're on winter break, and we're going to be starting up getting stuff ready for next semester next week. So it's going to get a little busy right there, but I think we're going to be doing okay because we actually finished a lot of it before winter break. So yeah, so moving forward, you're probably going to be seeing me around this place more often, and I'll probably be recording some more stuff of what we do here in the office, like just how we upgrade stuff, how we fix stuff, and like even learning little tiny new things. Like I just learned how to now terminate Cat5 or Cat6 Ethernet cables. Like I've never known how to do that before, but just a new thing that I learned from this new job, and so that's what I'm hoping this job kind of shows. That reminds me, the event that we ended up doing in December was we did a satellite uplink with the astronauts on the International Space Station. And with that, we were able to actually display the astronaut up on the board, and they had a whole bunch of kids come in and ask questions to the astronaut. And it was just really cool to see that because, of course, she's like floating around in the ISS just answering these questions and like talking about what they all do up there. And of course, space has always been amazing to me. It's always interesting new stuff that mankind is working on to try to expand our horizons of where we're traveling to, and they kind of covered a lot of that stuff, and it took a lot to set that stuff up, but when we got it working, when we got done with it, they were all super satisfied. And so I'm looking forward to doing some more little projects like that here and there, and I'm even thinking of doing like maybe some small personal projects just around here as well. We have, of course, Manny, who's our main production guy. He has a studio right downstairs here near my office. But he does more of the professional stuff, like, for meetings and interviews and all this kind of stuff. And so I was kind of sitting here being like, well, maybe with my group, here, we can just start doing like small behind the scenes stuff, kind of humanize the people that you normally don't see because we're behind the scenes just making sure that stuff's working. So that might be another small project that I work on this year with this new job, with the free time, because there are a lot of times where I am just sitting in this cubicle. If every classroom's going off without a hitch and there's no issues going on, like sometimes I don't have anything to work on, so I'm just sitting here like on YouTube. And I really think if I had a project to work on that still involved the job, it could at least give me something to work on. And that's pretty much it for the recap episode of last year. So of course this is week 1 again, and I'm really trying to work towards doing 52 weeks again this year, and I'm hoping that I can get that done. We have a lot of projects that are really coming forward through with Windfire Productions now that I'll be telling you about here in the next couple weeks, and you'll be seeing a lot of that stuff. And then not to mention just some other projects I'm trying to do. I'm going to try to start working on my cosplay stuff to get ready for RTX for this year, and I'm hoping that fills a lot of my stuff, and hopefully there's a couple other trips that come in out of nowhere. So until next time, I'll see you guys later.